Love is the keynote, joy is the music, knowledge is the performer, the infinite all is the composer and audience. Sri Aurobindo. Aurobindo Ghosh, an Indian philosopher, yogi, guru, poet, and nationalist, was born on the 15th of August, 1872. His parents were influenced by the European education, so they enrolled him in the Loreto Convent School at Darjeeling. At the age of 7, he was sent to England to complete his studies. He did his schooling from King's College, Cambridge, and also he learned various foreign languages like Greek, French, Italian, German, Latin, and Spanish. In 1892, he came back to India. He passed the Indian Civil Service examination, but he did not want to work for the British government. He was hesitant to join, but in 1893, he accepted an appointment in the Baroda State Service. He worked for 13 years and rose to the post of principal of the Baroda State College. He learned Sanskrit, read the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Indian epics, Marathi, Gujarati, and his mother tongue, Bengali. In 1901, he married Mrinalini Basu.
During the partition of Bengal, 1905 to 1912, he led the group of nationalists. Aurobindo espoused a threefold approach to this end: to conduct secret revolutionary propaganda and develop organizations to prepare for an armed revolution, to spread the idea of revolution and prepare the entire nation for independence, to organize the people for non-cooperation and passive resistance against foreign rule. Aurobindo wrote, while others look upon their country as an inert piece of matter, a few meadows and fields, forests and hills and rivers, I look upon my country as the mother. I adore her, I worship her as the mother.
Sri Aurobindo was, in the strictest sense of the term, a true patriot, pathfinder, and pioneer of India's freedom movement. Of all the statesmen India has produced, he had the clearest vision of Indian Swaraj in its fullness, as well as the practical means to attain it by strenuous and consistent struggle. In the political arena, he exhibited two distinct but inwardly allied personalities: as a passive resistor and as a revolutionary, and in both capacities, he cast a powerful influence on the whole course of India's freedom movement, which had its culmination in the transfer of power in 1947.
Later, he became the editor of a nationalist newspaper named Vande Matram. He was also imprisoned in 1908, and 2 years later, he escaped British-occupied India and found a refuge in the French colony of Pondicherry. Here, he devoted himself for the rest of his life to the development of integral yoga. His aim was to spiritually transform the life on earth. Aurobindo was accused in Alipur bombing case in 1908. During the trial, he had a mystical experience. To quote Aurobindo, he said,
I looked, and it was not the magistrate whom I saw. It was Vasudeva. It was Narayana, who was sitting there on the bench. I looked at the prosecuting counsel, and it was not the counsel for the prosecution that I saw. It was Sri Krishna who sat there. It was my lover and friend who sat there and smiled.
During this period, his view of life was radically changed. He had taken up yoga with the original idea of acquiring spiritual force and energy and divine guidance for his work in life.
Aurobindo Ghosh was an idealist to the core. His idealistic philosophy of life was based upon Vedantic philosophy of Upanishad. He maintains that the kind of education we need in our country is an education proper to the Indian soul and need, and temperament and culture that we are in quest of, not indeed something faithful merely to the past, but to the developing soul of India, to her future need, to the greatness of her coming self-creation, to her eternal spirit. Sri Aurobindo's concept of education is not only acquiring information, but its central aim is the building of the powers of the human mind and spirit.
Philosophy of education based on spiritual penance, practice of yoga and brahmacharya. Main aid of a teacher is his conscience. Conscience has 4 stages, namely consciousness, chit, mind, manas, intelligence, buddhi, knowledge, supranormal faculties. The important aim of education is to train all the senses, hearing, speaking, listening, touching, smelling, and tasting. According to him, these senses can be fully trained when nerve, chit, and manas are pure. Physical development and holiness are the chief aims of education. As such, he not only emphasized mere physical development, but physical purity also, without which no spiritual development is possible.
Another aim of education is to achieve mental development of the child. This mental development means the enhancement of all mental faculties, namely memory, thinking, reasoning, imagination, and discrimination. Education should develop them fully and harmoniously. Another important aim of education is the development of morality. Sri Aurobindo has emphasized that without moral and emotional development, mental development becomes harmful to human progress. Heart of a child should be so developed as to show extreme love, sympathy, and consideration for all living beings. This is real moral development. Curriculum should be in such a way which a child finds interesting. It should include those entire subjects which promote mental and spiritual development. It should motivate children towards the attainment of knowledge of the whole world. It should contain creativity of life and constructive capacities.
Basic principles of educational philosophy. Medium of mother tongue. Child-centered, catering to the mental aptitudes and psychological needs of the child. Develop to the full the latent power of the child. Aiming at physical purification of child. Developing consciousness.
Teacher-taught relationship. According to Sri Aurobindo, the first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught. He explains that the knowledge is already dormant within the child, and for this reason, the teacher is not an instructor or taskmaster. He is a helper and a guide. The role of the teacher is to suggest and not to impose. Teacher, a helper and a guide. His role is to suggest. He shows child how to perfect his instruments of knowledge, helps him and encourages him in the process. He shows him how to acquire knowledge that is within, where it lies, and how it can be habituated to rise to the surface.
Personality traits of a successful teacher. Complete self-control, self-confidence, aim to progress without any ego, impartial, regard all pupil as equal spiritually.
School. Sri Aurobindo's philosophy of education aims at modifying the school curricula, maximizing the learning modalities, helping the child to achieve his potentiality at his own pace and level and devote his time to discover himself. For Sri Aurobindo, school education was an antithesis of an imposed uniformity of prescribed courses and teaching, which was found in traditional educational institutions. Discipline. Children should be provided with a free environment so that they are able to gain more and more knowledge by their own efforts. According to him, any restrained and imposed environment stunts the growth and natural development. A true mental education, which will prepare man for a higher life, has 5 principal phases. Normally, these phases follow one after another, but in exceptional individuals, they may alternate or even proceed simultaneously. These 5 phases, in brief, are:
development of the power of concentration and attention, development of the capacities of expansion, widening, complexity, and richness, organization of one's ideas around a central idea, a higher ideal or a supremely luminous idea that will serve as a guide in life, thought control, rejection of undesirable thoughts, to be able to think only what one wants and when one wants, development of mental silence, perfect calm, and more total receptivity to inspirations coming from the higher regions of the being.
Place of a child. Education should satisfy the needs and interests of a child and develop his personality according to these powers to achieve full and complete development. Methods of teaching.
freedom of child,
Love and sympathy.
education through mother tongue,
Education according to interests of child.
education through self-experience,
Emphasis of learning by doing.
education through cooperation,
Education according to the nature of child.
The business of both parent and teacher is to enable and to help the child to educate himself, to develop his own intellectual, moral, aesthetic, and practical capacities, and to grow freely as an organic being, not to be kneaded and pressured into form like an inert plastic material. Sri Aurobindo, The Human Cycle. It is really surprising that the new Education Policy 2020 today emphasizes the same pedagogy which Sri Aurobindo, a visionary, articulated 100 years ago.
Aurobindo describes curriculum for different stages of education: mother tongue, English, French, literature, national history, art, painting, general science, social studies, and arithmetic should be taught at primary stage. Mother tongue, English, French, literature, arithmetic, art, chemistry, physics, botany, physiology, health education, social studies at secondary stage. Indian and Western philosophy, history of civilization, English literature, French, sociology, psychology, history, chemistry, physics, botany at university level. Art, painting, photography, sculpture, drawing, cottage industries, mechanical and electrical engineering, nursing, etc. at vocational level.
New pedagogical and curricular structure in NEP 3 to 8, foundational stage from keeping the focus on development of language skills and teaching by play-based and activity-based curriculum. 8 to 11, pre-primary education, focus on emphasis on experiential learning, focus shift to play, discovery and activity-based and interaction classroom learning, aim at development of language and numeracy skills. 11 to 14, preparatory stage, transform the pedagogy to a more experiential learning in the sciences, mathematics, arts, social sciences, and humanities. The focus would be on critical learning objectives and not on learning by rote, subject-oriented pedagogical learning style. 14 to 18 years, secondary stage, in 2 phases. First phase will be 9 and 10, and second 11 and 12. Students would be able to pick and choose any set of subjects from the available structure. The focus would be on greater critical thinking and flexibility, allowing children to pick subjects of their interests. Even technical and arts will promote critical thinking, attention to life aspirations, and also allow flexibility of subjects.